Hey everyone. So for some reason, I'm not sure I've been able to invite everybody. I'm trying again. One, two, three, four, five, six. I know Rasha won't be here tonight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're missing Carmen. We'll wait another minute. Carmen and Michael. Andrew's here. We'll wait another minute, and I'm trying to do a test run with our guest, one of our guest critics. So I've sent something to Emily. I'm going to try it again. And Nancy, you and I can go over a couple of things after this brief conversation, if that suits you still.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's sort of get started. When Emily from Washington, D.C. does arrive, I'll interrupt the flow of the discussion. Oh, there she is. So let me do that now. Hi, Emily.
Hey, how are you?
How are you today? Good to see you.
Doing well. I met with Bria earlier.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, she
I'm glad.
was
So
really
you're with all of our class right now.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
So hello. So this is Emily Rotman. She's an architect, an old friend of mine from here in Detroit, and she is an architect in Washington, D.C. And she'll be joining us on Friday. This was kind of a test run for you, Emily, really to make sure you had run the script and all of that stuff for Google Hangouts. And this will be how the session will go for you on Friday. And I think you've agreed to help us, right? To do the first session, like from like 1 o'clock till 3:30.
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. So you might want to get some headphones for Friday so that you don't interrupt everyone at the office. And you also have the grade sheets that I sent you. I guess for you, what I'd like to do is ask you, Emily, to process those grade sheets kind of during the session, and then send them to me, you know, after then, you know, or Friday night.
Okay.
After work, and then I'll share them as those grade sheets appear. So if you have little drawings or happy faces or frowny faces, whatever you indicate on those grade sheets, they will be delivered just as you meant them to be to the students. Okay?
Okay. Sounds great.
Great. I'll let you go, and we'll see you on Friday, and I'll send another invite a little bit before 1 o'clock just so that we can start, right at 1. All right?
Okay, sounds great. Bye.
Thanks, Emily. Good to see you.
Nice to see
Bye-bye.
you.
Good. So good. That was excellent. So technically, Emily's all set. So she will be one of our critics for Friday, and she'll be processing the review as we've done this before with through Google Hangouts. And then we'll have Christoph, and we'll have Lindsay for the whole day. Second half of the day, we'll have Caitlin Hill, so from our office, and Caitlin will take over where Emily leaves off. So half of you will have comments from Caitlin, and half of you will have comments from Emily. And of course, Ash and I will be there, and we'll be, I'll certainly be making my own grading assessments. That's the first thing. Oh, maybe I didn't invite Lynn. That's probably what it is. Sorry, Lynn. Okay, good. So let's see. Wow. Well, that kind of went fast, didn't it? Right? The semester went by very, very quickly. Tonight celebrates the first of maybe 3 milestones that occur within the next 7 days. Of course, that includes the last class for our studio, which will be 1 week from tonight. That includes Friday's benchmark review, which I am truly looking forward to. And it includes tonight, which is Pencils Down. So tonight's class is really meant to be just a touch-based class to make sure that you got the grade sheets, that you understand, right, that you are processing critical and kind of a verbal / narrative commentary / review for one partner, and that partner will in turn provide you ample feedback. So when you braid the comments from your partner with the comments from your critics, with the verbal comments that are going to be discharged during the session, along with the feedback that you'll get from me, probably like before Monday night, on or before Monday night of next week, I think you'll have a fairly well-rounded, spectrum of feedback that builds on all of the different feedback opportunities that we've had for this semester, and I hope you appreciate that. So that's the first thing I want to mention. The next thing is that I had the pleasure of meeting Alex last week over the Thanksgiving break. So Alex, thanks for coming up and spending some time with us in our office. And I'm looking forward to meeting Joshua and Eric, as well as Lynn, if she's able to be here. She's planning on being here, weather permitting. She's driving in from Ottawa. So Nancy, Miss Nancy, you're the only one in this class of 12 that I will have not met. And so I will be very keen on hearing about your schedule as it relates to grad school, particularly for Critical Practice Studio, because I'd love to meet you at that point when you come in for those summer classes. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. So Wu asked a really good question, and I answered it very, I think, clearly. I just want to make sure that, so thank you for asking that question, Wu. And I hope that you understood the answers and really, the reasons why the answers were the way they are. Tonight is Pencils Down. It's Pencils Down for all of the studios. And that's because you really do need Wednesday off, because some studios are actually conducting their reviews on Thursday. And since our studio is conducting our reviews on Friday, I encourage you, if you're local, to audit some of the classes, whether they be undergraduate or graduate classes. Those reviews run from 1 o'clock till, I think, 9 o'clock on Thursday, and I think our reviews are the last reviews on Friday. So if you're on campus and you have the opportunity, the time, and the inclination, I would encourage you to do that, particularly for our 3+ students who are kind of embarking into the ADS cycle soon. This would be a really useful thing for you to look at and be part of. Just sort of crash one of them and sit for a couple of sessions. Maybe try to cop one of the program briefs. I think you'll find the language and the terms of engagement for an ADS studio markedly different than the kind of narrative and program briefs that you got in our studio. But I think it's something that you need to experience, and it might be useful, if you can, to see that before you actually enroll in one of those classes. Those grade sheets that you're doing for your partners, I need those absolutely, unequivocally, the next day. You need to send them to me by the next day or sooner, because I need to get those out so that you have that feedback and can begin thinking about the conversation that you'll have with me individually on Tuesday night of next week. So we'll have next week that starts at 5:30. We'll have a synchronous session where we go over some general comments about the review, and from your perspective and from my perspective, some general comments about maybe the presentations, the critics, and the whole semester. And then I will also share with you some meditations on architecture, which I think you've paid for. I know most of you have probably felt like you've heard everything I have to say, but I also feel like it's important that at the end of a semester that we leave you with some parting shots and some words of some reflection as it relates to teaching, as it relates to practice, and as it relates maybe to your career. So I will do that on Tuesday night next week. So given that landscape of dates and deliverables and milestones prompted by Woo's email, do you all have any questions at this point, whether they're simple questions or technical questions or whatever? Down the line, Alex, Andrew, I see Carmen, I see Eric, and I see Courtney, Josh, Nancy, Lynn, Paige, and Woo. I don't see any questions. Great. So for tonight, like everything in our studio, it works on the honor system. Tonight is pencils down, and that means that I anticipate that you will stop working tonight. And I anticipate that you'll go to bed at the end of the evening, and that you'll get some rest, and that you wake up somewhat fresh and somewhat exerted from this mental and physical marathon, and begin to reflect on what it is that you're going to do on Friday, what it is that you're going to say, how you're going to say it, when you're going to say it, and exactly the tone and the tenor of that sort of presentation. I would expect that on Wednesday and Thursday you organize those thoughts in writing, and I would encourage you to practice it in some sort of video format so that you can watch yourself present and look at a stopwatch to make sure that you're staying on point and on time, and adjust the content, wording, and maybe even the slide deck so that you stay on time, because we will have so many critics. 9. You'll have 9 minutes. And because we have so many critics, and I know we will have others like Dan Farrow will be popping in, Martin Schwartz will be popping in. I expect that I expect that Carl Daubman, and I expect that Jim Stevens will be popping in. They've all alluded to doing that before, and that sort of comes with the territory of being one of 6 adjunct faculty members this semester. They're wanting to keep, I think, a really close look at how we're doing as sort of hired guns for our important program. So they may say things about your project as well, which will eat into the time for the other sort of pre-scheduled critics, and I want to afford them that time. So 9 minutes is how long you'll have to present. And of course, the roster, the batting order, if you will, was released on Sunday, so you know exactly when you're presenting, and I will hold those critiques to that schedule. I'll also bring some snacks to nibble on and beverages to drink. I'll assume that there's no food allergies unless you alert me to them. And I guess the last thing, if there are no other questions, the university has told me that they have released to you the course evaluation survey. And I just need to say to you that I do appreciate that many of you participated in that survey in the mid-term. And that's very important for me because I actually was able to use some of the feedback from then and tweak our sessions and our class content on the fly, on the move then. But this particular review, this end of semester review, is really the most important one. It's the most important one because you have had by then, they think, the full sort of experience, right, of being in the studio. You will have had 17 or 18 weeks of working through your work and working through your conversations with one another and with me. And by then you will have had formed, they think, an opinion about the course and the syllabus and other sort of things that they ask. And I don't think that the questions they ask this time are much different, really, maybe, than the other surveys. So in some ways, I think that should be very familiar. I think your perspective is maybe the variable. But I'm asking as a favor to me and to the college to please participate in that survey. It really does help me personally, particularly if you write comments that are like sentences or paragraphs or whatever, right? Thoughts that you elaborate on that can help me, again, tweak this class should I have the opportunity to teach it again. And I believe I am on the schedule to teach it again next semester. These things are always, you know, somewhat in flux at a private school, at a private architecture school. So I kind of like play it by ear, but I'm available to teach if they want me to, and I'm certainly looking forward to doing this class again next semester if that's the will and the wishes of the college. So please, I ask you, I beg of you to spend a few moments, maybe tomorrow morning over a cup of coffee, after you've turned your work in, participate in the course evaluation, and I will be indebted to you for doing that. We will have Scott from eLearning coming up on Friday afternoon to hook up the monitors, so we will have the benefit of the 2 large monitors in the graduate suite. So it will be a little bit different this time because you'll see the large image of our guests and the students that are presenting virtually. And the last thing was I will be on campus all afternoon on Thursday in Scott Schell's review. So if you need to see me, or if you really want to take me up on my suggestion to audit an ADS, Advanced Design Studio 1 section review, this would be a good one to go to because I'll be there and I'll be happy to introduce you, and I'll hand off a program brief for you to look at so that you can maybe photograph it with your phone and start to like orient yourself to that. And we'll be in the same room, T 219. All right. Are there any other questions? That's really all I had. I wanted to make sure you had the grade sheets, the batting roster, that you understood that you're reviewing only one student, a partner that you knew who that was because I released that last weekend as well. I'm really looking forward to meeting Lynn, Eric, and Josh in person, and then the course evaluations. That's really what I wanted to talk to you about. I'll let you go, and then I'll meet with Nancy, who has asked me to visit with her, and I'll say good luck for the next 5-ish hours of this evening. And again, this works on the honor system. Just drop your pencil and go to bed and get some sleep. There's no need to upload anything or email me that you've finished your work and that you're all done. The University of Detroit does that. I don't do that. I work on your word as I should, and I would expect that you upload your work to the Google Drive Benchmark 3 folder that one of you please create, so that everything can be in the same place. All right. Any questions? Well, I pledged in January that this would go very, very quickly. And I think the month of November probably did that for you. It did that for me. I've enjoyed meeting with some of you in this last couple of weeks to talk about your progress. And I hope that those conversations were worthwhile. And I look forward, I really do look forward to seeing your work. The benchmark, the final benchmark, is actually a really terrific, I think, a lot of celebration. So I'll see you all on Friday. If you're driving in, please drive safely, and I'll meet with you then. Thanks, everyone. Okay, Nancy, did you want to do like a page turn? Is that how you wanted to do this? Or did you just want to talk?
No. I'll actually, I would like to share my screen. I have.
So while you're doing that, you want to go ahead and let Carmen ask her quick question?
Oh, sure. Yes.
Hi, Carmen.
Hi, sorry. I was going to email you, but I thought it'd be better just in person. So I don't think I'll be able to be there on Friday, but I'll be remote. I just haven't been feeling well. But if something changes between here and Friday, I'll definitely be at Lawrence Tech.
So I just want to, I understand. I certainly understand because I've seen the evidence,
yes.
Right? But I do want to say this, that, and I've said it before, I hope you're feeling better on Friday and that you're strong enough and healthy enough to be there, because it really does. And I'm saying this to Nancy, who's not going to be there. So I don't mean this as a kind of a pejorative thing, but it really does help create that connection with your audience. And given that you're so close, right, just try to be there. That's all I'm going to say. But I appreciate the heads up.
All right, perfect. I'll let you know around Thursday. I have a medical.
No, you don't even have to let me know, because I'm inviting everybody to the Hangout, even though it's going to be populated by a lot of people in person.
Okay. All right.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Mark.
Hang in there.
All right,
okay, bye-bye. Okay, Nancy.
Okay,
thank you.
Actually, plate. I haven't put them together. I have them separate, each one of them. I was trying to work how I was going to do this start, because 9 minutes, I remember last benchmark 2, it was half of my plate, and I spent a little over 9 minutes, and I went like really fast over it. I know there's a lot of information. Actually, I was counting my plates, and it was like, oh my God, there's so many.
So your presentations may have run slightly long, but they were never they were never like, what's going on? Cut it off. They were never like overwhelming. That's one thing. The second thing is try to make some note cards about. Try to create one sentence, maybe two, for each plate, and stick to that. Right? Don't put that sentence. Don't type that sentence as part of your PowerPoint, right? Make that part of a read over or a voiceover, right? That will help us see what you want us to see in the drawings. And here's the last thing. You don't have to say something about everything. That's my tendency, right? But sometimes the drawing, like a rendering or a facade drawing, sometimes the drawings are just so beautiful that say nothing, because you really want the drawing just to like radiate, right? So some drawings, like your renders, your money shots or interior perspective, whatever you think are your best plates, Nancy, maybe they just kind of stand on their own.
Okay.
Did that help?
Yes, kind of. I mean, I'm still nervous because I don't know.
You're doing fine.
I think my plates are not that. I mean, I think they're good.
Yeah, me too.
Let me see. I wanted to show you something. Let me see. I have architectural. Actually, I have them all. I could share my screen. I would like your opinion on them. Okay. What should I show you? Actually, I stick with my HVAC system. I stick with a jet fan. I think it was Caitlin, the one that they left me a comment and said that the jet fans weren't for underground parkings. Actually, they were for tunnels. So I did a little bit of research, and actually that's why I put this picture with the car, because this particular jet fan from Systemair, it's especially for underground parking. And she did said that they would take a lot of the underground parking. And actually this, as you can see, it's relatively small. You still have a lot of space in between, and they don't have to. I mean, I put here nine jet fans, 9 jet fans, but actually I was reading that they have to run like a test to analyze how much CO emission is going to be in each area. And they're going to be calculated how many jet fans you really need. And actually, maybe we could have like 4 in this square footage.
Right.
I started with this. I thought it was. I mean, it was for this kind of. I didn't have time.
I think you just stick with that product or that perspective on things. There are other products. There are radiant heaters that you can that you could use, and the fact is that this is an entirely open parking garage. So in weather like we're having now, where it's going to be 30 degrees, 28 degrees in the next couple of days, you're running frequently, I would imagine. So you can
Actually, no, they won't be running, because I'm proposing a green energy saving mechanism that comes with the jet fan, that actually it analyzes when the jet fan has to run. There's certain areas inside of basement parking that accumulate the CO emissions, and only those areas are the ones that's going to be running the jet fans.
I see. I see.
The other ones are going to be shut off. They're going to be systematically run by a matrix, a system. That's why they I thought it was pretty interesting because it says that it has an 80% energy saving in the green ventilation mode.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I actually work, I don't know if you remember, I really had a messy HVAC system. I reworked it. I met with Ash 2 weeks ago. I didn't have time to meet with him on this weekend. I believe he was busy because he couldn't reply, but I rearranged it. I hope this one it's better. I know this is more his area of expertise.
Right.
And
so I'm glad you met with him.
I reworked the elevations. You did mention that they had to be aligned with the windows. And well, I did a little bit of tweaking here and there. Actually, I was not having problems, because they're not problems, with my rendering. I did as you suggested. I downloaded the Lumion student version. So good. I loved it. Really, I loved it. I can't believe I had lived all this time without Lumion.
It's great.
It's
I'm
like
so
magic.
glad to hear that. Can you share one with me?
Yeah, actually, they're not that good because I just downloaded it on Sunday and I started working. But let me see, where are they?
It's fun though, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. I haven't learned how to use the light yet, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah. And you'll want to have your company buy it at a professional subscription. It'll be about $4,000, but if you can show them what you can do with it version, they are going to go, what?
Yes, I think this is awesome. I did it in, I think, 1/4 of the time I would spend on AutoCAD.
Exactly.
Or less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The good thing, I didn't know how it worked. The good thing I do work with layers, so everything was easier because I wasn't aware that the materials were applied to layers. So it would have been really bad if I had done everything in the same layer. So it was really good. I appreciate the suggestion. It was
good.
Really good.
Well, I think for your next studio, you can dabble in it a little bit more.
Yes, definitely. I already have all my drawings. I think I still don't know how I'm going to arrange them.
So that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I want you to, think about on like Wednesday and Thursday is what that slide deck looks like and what is the order of things.
Okay. And okay, I will do the the cards to write like my script for each plate. I'm just gonna do some images right now. That's the only thing I'm missing because I already have all the other plates. What else? It's 9 minutes. I would think it's a lot of time, but once I start, I think it's a little bit time, and I know I tend to rush it when I start on the presentation. I rush it, and sometimes I miss a lot of things that I want to say.
Your verbal presentations have been actually really, really good, and I hope I've acknowledge that in like other feedback sessions, in whether in conversations or in like writing on your reviews. I think your verbal presentations are very authoritative. They're very even. They're very professional. You're not you don't freak out. You're not too animated. You're not too like excitable. You know, it's kind of a nice, professional, calm demeanor. And I think that serves you well in this studio. And I hope that that's actually the way that you kind of run things where you work, that you're kind of just steady.
Actually, that's I appreciate that, because when I was back in college, I used to get panic attacks whenever I had to do a presentation. They were really bad. I would start to hyperventilate, and once I even fainted, it was so bad. So yes, yes. I mean, that was a long time ago, but still, I get not like that, but I do get nervous.
Well, you know, I mean, I think your sort of evolution between then and now is probably pretty significant, because you've had I think really good feedback to your faculty. You've got a really good project. It's an important project, and you have presented it 2 times already. Really, you know, when you think about it, and when you add all of those things along with the sort of professional sensibility that you've gained over the years working in the offices after school, you know, take stock of that. Let that kind of melt all of that anxiety away.
Actually, I am saying this. I did work
one more
a
time.
lot. I am
Yes,
really
I know you
excited.
do.
I mean, I'm nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm also really excited about it.
Well, I think maybe let me end with this remark, because you wrote me about it. You said, "I want to talk to you tonight, Mark, because I'm nervous about Friday." Let me tell you why you're first. Because I really want to start the review session for Benchmark 3. I always start with a really strong student.
Thank you.
All right. So you should take that as a compliment, as a professional compliment, and you should really just get in there and do it, and then you can relax for the rest of the afternoon. Right?
Yes.
No hyperventilating, no fainting.
Let's hope not.
No pacing back and forth, you know. All right?
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark. I did want to be
Is that
there,
cool?
but I couldn't. I mean, I have. I'm living with my siblings, and they're in college. But I have a brother with disability, and I was gonna go, but my siblings, they freaked out because, oh, you're gonna leave us. I'm like, it's only going to be a weekend. Come on, guys. But no, they really freaked out. My parents couldn't come. They're living in Mexico. So it all, and I took too long to buy the ticket, and I thought, well,
look, I appreciate that you even considered it. It was a wild card possibility that I would meet you in this semester. It was extraordinary that I met Alex. It's just that Alex is actually from this area. And she came up for Thanksgiving to be with her family. And as it turns out, her dear friend is one of the interior designers in my office. So she was going to meet with Sarah for lunch on Monday, right after Thanksgiving, last Monday, a week ago Monday. And I said, well, if you're coming in to meet Sarah for lunch, at least please come into the office and let me shake your hand so I can meet you. So you're going to be, you'll have a chance. We'll have a chance to meet. You're going to be in critical practice this summer.
Yes.
And so we'll meet then. And you do appreciate, your
Definitely.
family will need to appreciate that you have to be up here 4 times, right?
Yeah, actually, I was planning if it's gonna be 4 times, maybe I should just stay there. It's gonna be
Yeah, that's
on the
another,
summer, so I'm gonna ask my mom to come and take care of my brother for that
Yeah.
time. It's gonna be easier.
right. So that it may be 4 or 5 times. That's up to the professor.
Yeah.
But critical practice, even for the online students, it's the only class that's on campus, right? So we'll have an opportunity, even if it's just for a coffee or a quick hello. I'll make sure that we connect. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Then I can cross
Okay.
you off my list sometime in the summer.
Yes.
Okay. So if we have nothing else, I'll let you go.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark.
You're welcome. Goodbye, Nancy.
See you on Friday.